Hey everyone, my speech today is between traditional and contemporary worship and why we need it. This speech is directed towards the age gap between generations as well as the tension of the turn of the centuries. Also, this argument will uncover certain aspects as to why generations continue to argue concerning proper means of worship. Now, the reason why I chose this is because I'm attempting to go into the field of worship. I do it now. I have a passion for music and for worship. Now, why is it important to have worship? Well, it's to help us experience God and to grow with other believers. Now, why are these two genres important? Well, it brings that relatable substance to the table in church settings. It also provides a means to learn about God and makes the audience more susceptible to the Spirit. Well, why do we need both? Well, traditional worship usually will appeal to older generations, while contemporary will appeal to younger generations. But in doing so, the age gap is broken, and the ultimate goal is that everyone is reached, the gospel is heard in every generation. So, although conflict has arisen between these two, they are nonetheless important, and we're going to look at why. The first main point that I'm going to cover is we all need it. It provides a form of spiritual sustenance. Um, it gives us a heightened experience of God and other church members, as seen in a study by Ken Burrison. It provides information in order to live more Christ-like, and it initiates a strengthening of faith. It also provides multicultural understanding of a universal gospel by being spoken in many different languages, preached in all different kinds of cultures, and it can be understood by all ages. Now, main point two, the church needs both of these types of worship in order to grow. Without it, the church suffers, as Gertrude Tonsing points out in their article. The people are the church, okay? However, with no relatable substance, meaning worship in this scenario, people leave, fewer and fewer people hear about the church, and the church will slowly die as a result of people leaving and not finding anything to relate to in certain services. Now, that's where the two types of worship come into play. Both are very key. However, the combination of the two makes the church stronger. If we just have one, then we're not getting exactly the potential that the church can use to reach other people. And the reason why I say that both are important is because it unveils God in two different ways. One, it reveals him as a relatable source to older generations, and then two, a relatable source to younger generations. Now, another point for this, the church is Christ's bride. In other words, without the church, one can't fully understand Christ, as seen or as demonstrated by Wesley D. Tracy. The worship allows the ability to become more open to the church and the message, and it binds the congregation together as portrayed in Ephesians 5:25 through 27. Worship is a good segue for this bonding experience. Now, main point three is that God needs it. Without it, God loses his significance. If God isn't portrayed in worship and worship is not used, then God's not really taught. God's not really known. Now, in that, people will sometimes get bored if they don't have proper means to relate to the service or to God. The message is missed and God is ignored. Without worship, the spiraling effect continues after that. It just kind of goes downhill from there. Now, worship defines God by means of providing necessary sources to receive worship for God. It keeps energy within the services. Enthusiasm is encouraged, and interest is sparked concerning God. Now, the main point overall is that God deserves worship. 1 Chronicles 16:23 through 31 explains this, as well as Psalms 29. Now, in conclusion, both of these are exceedingly important types of worship. Neither are more important than the other. Both present the gospel in relatable ways. So, overall, both types are needed. They present God, they get Him known to His people, and both of them are nonetheless important. Thank you.